So verse 8, 2 Samuel 5:8, and David said on that day, whosoever getteth up to the gutter is actually talking about this. Where here, gutter, which is Hebrews 6:7-9-4. Gutter is talking about, oh no, that's not it. Here, 6:7-9-4. It's talking about pipe, spout, conduit. And what is a conduit? Pipes. But in the ancient days, it's talking about a conduit of wells, aqueduct, you could say. Basically water, because it says it right here. Show. Water conduct or conduit. Nowadays you have this iron and stuff like that. Back in the days you had this. The same word is used here. I mean, look, here it says to the gutter, and here it says the same word is used for water spout. So what is a water spout? Where did I put it? Here, water spout. What is a water spout? This. Ancient times. It's a fountain, cause you know, look. Here. You had a water spout under the here, ancient times. Here's another one, another spout, water spout. So here, for this shit. I'll go over here, so I'm gonna do this one. Got it. I don't need you. Here you can see ancient times, and they had the water spout. But what was it like? It was very high. And then you could get it out from here. But it was very high because they had to climb. You had to climb up to it. So what did he say? He said that. Whoso getteth up to the gutter and smiteth the Jebusite and the lame and the blind that are hated of David's soul. This is not actually talking about lame and blind, because King David didn't hate them like that. He didn't hate them. He hated the Jebusites because they was idol worshippers. And you can see here, for example, 2 Samuel 4:4. And Jonathan, Saul's son, had a son that was lame on his feet. He was 5 years old when the tidings came of Saul and Jonathan out of Jezreel when they died. And his nurse took him up and fled. And it came to pass, as she made haste to flee, that he fell and became lame, like the guy from Superman. Sorry, made a mistake. He fell off a horse. And then he became lame. He used to ride around on horses and stuff like that. And then he fell from that horse and became lame. This was in the beginning. And this was later on, because your whole body starts to deteriorate. You know, it starts to get real fucked up. You know, you could fall like that and break your spine. And he did fall and he broke his neck. You know, he broke his neck. He broke his neck from here. Let me see. Yeah, breaking 2 vertebrae in his neck. And that was like this one here. Like this. He broke his neck like that. The very rare horse scorpion. It's fucked up. If this person is alive, like if this person didn't, you know, get a serious pain, like breakage, you know, thing broken, you lucky. You know, you lucky. What is this? Yeah. Or you could have ended up like this. You know, like this. You could have ended up like that if you fall like this. You know. Fall like a scorpion. Meme. because the scorpion is not a scorpion, but still, their back, their back could be arched like that, and then this that scorpion thing. The scorpion, you got the shrimp. These cave people, they're weird, man. They just name these things weird and stuff like that. But anyway, this is how you fall. This is how he fell. Well, he fell worse. But anyway, yeah. But he fell, and then he broke his lower torso, like his lower thing. I don't know how you call that thing down there, but his lower back. And his name was Mephibosheth. 2 Samuel 9:6. Now, when Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, was come unto David, which is the house of Saul. This is the house of Saul. He fell on his face, and did reverence. He was only lame on his feet. The rest of his body could move. He even had children. Mephibosheth had children. So, yeah. So that part did work. It was his feet that didn't work. His legs didn't work. But the rest of his body did. Because like I said, he had children. And David said so he was lame since he was 5 years old. Yeah, that's when he became lame. But later on, as a grown up, he did have wives and children. So it worked. Only his legs did not work. Was come unto David. He fell on his face and did reverence. He gave him honor. And David said, Mephibosheth. And he answered, Behold, thy servant. And David said unto him, Fear not, for I will surely show thee kindness for Jonathan thy father's sake, and I will restore thee all the land of Saul thy father, and thou shalt eat bread at my table continually. But he was lame, so he didn't. That is not what it meant when it says here that King David, his soul, where is it again? Yeah, David, his soul, and the lame and the blind that are hated of David's soul. That's not what it's talking about. So you will eat at my table continually. And he bowed himself and said, What is thy servant, that thou shouldest look upon such a dead dog as I am? Then the king called Ziba, Saul's servant, and said unto him, I have given unto thee thy master's son, which is Saul. Saul was his master. All that pertaineth to Saul, and to all his house, which is the house of Saul, which is only his bloodline. So when you say you are of the house of Saul, that means you are strictly descendant of Saul. If you say that you are the house of David, then you are strictly the descendant of David. That's why Yahushua is of the house of David. Joseph was called of the house of David. Joseph. Luke 1:27. To a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. And the virgin's name was Mary. So Joseph is of the house of David. Right, verse 10. Thou therefore, and thy sons and thy servants, shall till the land for him. For who? For Mephibosheth. Wow. Okay. And thou shalt bring in the fruits, that thy master's son, Mephibosheth, shall have food to eat. But Mephibosheth, thy master's servant, shall eat bread always, basically always, at my table. Now, Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Ziba, which is Mephibosheth, his servant. Actually, is from his father, but he kept on serving his son, which is Mephibosheth. Then said Ziba unto the king, According to all that my lord the king had commanded his servant, so shall thy servant do. As for Mephibosheth, said the king, he shall eat at my table, as one of the king's son. And Mephibosheth had a young son, see, whose name was Micah. and all that dwell in the house of Ziba were servants unto Mephibosheth. So Mephibosheth dwelt in Jerusalem, for he did eat continually at the king's table, and he was lame on both his feet. And here you can see the house of Saul once more. Oh, what was that again? Oh shit. Son of Kish Chronicles. Let me see. Wait, oh boy, where's that again, man? Kish, Saul, Chronicles. Here it is. First Chronicles chapter 8, verse this one. And 33. And Ner begat Kish, and Kish begat Saul, and Saul begat Jonathan, and Malchishua, and Abinadab, and Eshbaal. And the son of Jonathan was Meribaal, and Meribaal begat Micah. And what is that? Meribaal and Micah? That's this one. I just read it. Okay. And Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was Micah. They spelled it different. And here his name is called Meribaal. So Mephibosheth is his other name is Meribaal, and you can find that here. This is one of the reasons why the Arabs, and there's many reasons, by the way. How you spell that? Merib. Baal means king. It's not a bad word. I wouldn't be one to go dead with that shit. But Baal is not a bad word. Yeah, Baal is not a bad. It's actually king. It means king. Look, you can find that here. Yeah. No, wait a minute. What am I saying? Moloch. Moloch. I made a mistake. Moloch. Moloch. When you read about Moloch here, Hebrew 4:432, it's actually Malak. And what does it say? King. Now here, look. King David. Check this out. King David. So Hebrew 44:28, Malak, king. And then this one, which is Hebrew 44:32, which is Malak. It's still Malak. It's king. It means king. Look, these things don't exist. These little dots and stuff, that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. The Hebrew is almost almost like this. Bark. Bark. What is a bark? Bark is a bark of this or a bark of a dog. If you put it in a sentence, then you would know what it means. Hey, I heard that bark. Hey, I saw that bark. See? Now you know what you're talking about in that sentence. But if I just say bark, you don't know what I'm talking about. Which one? You know, so that's the same kind of thing with a lot of these Hebrew words. If you put it in a sentence, you would know. You know? Right. So Malak means king. It's not a bad word. But like I said, Esau pronounces as, but yeah, sometimes he pronounces, but yeah, how can I say it? If you put it in a sentence, you would know that it's talking about Baal. That's another one. It's also, they called him the king. They called Molech the king because Molech is this. Sometimes it's spelled like this. You can see Moloch, Molech, or Molech, right? It's this. It's a cow, and cow is also Baal, like the golden calf. That's also Baal. But this is what they call the king. So Molech is what they call king. This is what they call king, right? Like I said, Molech is not a bad word. It's, if you say Molech, then it's a bad word, right? But well, it's not a bad word. It's associated with something bad. That's what I mean. But actually, you say Molech David, like Malak David, actually. But yeah, it's just spelled different now. But it's one word, which is king. That's literally what it means. But if you say Molech, then you know exactly that I'm talking about that idol worshiper thing. And let me see. You had also Zerubbabel. 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 Who was that? Gideon. But why was he called Zerubbabel? Well, it says here right here. Oh, wait. How do you spell it again? Zerubbabel, sorry. Zerubbabel. Here. Zerubbabel, right? Gideon was called that. Why? This is the meaning. Judges 6:32. Therefore, on that day he called him Jerubbaal, which Gideon was called Jerubbaal. You had the Gibeonites with a B, and then you had Gideon with a D, right? Jerubbaal saying, "Let Baal plead against him because he had thrown down his altar." So that is what the name means. The name means, let Baal fight. Let Baal fight for himself then, if he's real. If he's real, let him fight for himself. Because Gideon, he burned down the altars of the groves of Baal, and he broke down the statues of Baal. And then the servants of Baal, which were Israelites, they wanted to kill him. And then basically the people named, or I forgot, if somebody named him, it's in the verse above, but he was named Jerubbaal, which means let Baal fight for himself, seeing that he's the one that destroyed his altar and his groves. How come Baal doesn't harm him himself if he's a real God? If you did that to the Most High thing, you'd be dead in a few seconds. But the Heavenly Father doesn't judge always like right then and there. Here. Sirach 8:11, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. So the Lord, back in the days, you'd be dead. You'd be dead. It says it right here too. Hebrews chapter 10:28. He that despises Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. You'd be dead. Right? But then the Spirit of grace came, which is Yahweh Shai. So you wouldn't be killed right then and there. That's also why he didn't kill the woman. John 8. John 8 and... What? Here, 11. What? Anyway, 11. She said, "No man, Lord." And Yahweh Shai said unto her, "Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more." Don't do it again. Because she was caught in the very act. She had the legs up in the air. Maybe she was on the doggy type. I don't know. But she was getting clapped up. Huh? Yeah, they caught you right there. Right. So let Baal fight for himself. And Baal is a heifer. Here. Naphtali used to worship them too. Tobit 1 and 5. Now all the tribes which together revolted against the Most High, and the house of my father Naphtali sacrificed unto the heifer Baal. What is a heifer? A heifer is a cow. And Baal, it's this. It's a dude. Baal is a dude. But the heifer Baal, it's this cow worship. But Baal is a man. It's Nimrod. This is Nimrod. They called him Baal. But then, Because back in ancient times, a cow was very nurturing. So they said, the cow is the one that gives us life. See? It gives us milk and nutrients and stuff like that. It gives us food and, we're going to start worshiping cows now. That's what they did. That's why in India, until this day, they worship cows. They dress them up. If you kill a cow in India, you'd be dead. They will kill you. And you worship cows. They worship cows. He's probably looking at you like, man, where the grass at? Nothing but rocks around here. Let me see. Cows. Plenty of cow of plenty. Yeah, here. The miraculous cow of plenty. Plenty of cow. Because give milk. And the mother of cow. This Baal worship, but they took it straight up to a seriousness. That's why in America they would say, back in the days, because I remember hearing this in the movies. Holy cow! When the Edomites saw something, holy cow! Because he also references toward Baal, cow worship. That's what they do. That's what they did. Cows in the city. Roaming. You have cows in the city roaming there, just eating garbage here. Cows in the city. Dude. Here. They just eat shit. They just eat shit. They just eat shit. They how you have dogs in America eating from the garbage. That's how you have cows in India eating from garbage, peeps. Not potatoes, bananas. They go out there and eat the fruit and stuff like that. They're supposed to eat grass. And only that. But here they got another taste for fast food and stuff like that. And they still stay skinny. Because over there, how you call that thing? They don't kill them. So when they breed, they really breed. Like, you can't stop them. You can't. And you shouldn't, by the way. It's a cow. No, I wouldn't kill it, but I'm not worshiping that thing. I'm not for the calling animals. What the fuck you don't do that for? The Heavenly Father created them. You gonna start killing them because you feel I feel like it's too many, and then I'm gonna start killing them. You got that white boy DNA. You should just transfer them to other places because there are going to be a lot of them. Eating off of garbage heaps and stuff like that. But anyway, you can check that out for yourself if you have the time. That's what they do in India over there. Because they don't kill them. They worship them. And they just let them go free. Just like how you have monkeys in India also. They don't kill them neither because they worship them too. They worship them. Monkey temples. You have rats that they worship there also. Monkey temple. In India, you got the monkey temple. You have in Asiatic countries, you have also monkey temples. They live in the temple. That's their house. Like, you got bums on the street. They don't have a house, but the monkey got a house. They got a temple. And also you have the rats. Rat temple. They also got a temple. If you go there, you kill rats, you be in trouble. They're gonna kill you. They're gonna catch you, boy. They're gonna fuck you up. Because it's one of their family members. That's what they say. And they drink out of the same thing too. I have no problem with rats, man. I'm just not worshiping them. I think they're dope. I like rats. They're little cute critters. Look, see? They drink out the same thing. And these are the people that rule. These are the people that they to us they stank. We stank to them. We stank to them. But you have them shitting on the fucking in the public. I don't want to put that picture, but just type in Indian people shit on street or the beach. My man, you be looking at that like, God damn, and these people are higher than us in the world. What? They shit Like I don't know, man. You know how birds are? Birds. You know how birds, they shit in their own water. If you put water in the cage, they'll shit in the water and then they drink it. Yeah. That's basically Elam right here. This is Elam, the descendants of Elam. Anyway, enough of this. So going back to over here. So the heifer Baal is what they worship. It's a cow. So basically, let cowboy fight for himself. Let the cow fight for himself. As Gibeon did that. He destroyed the altar of Baal, which is the altar of child sacrifice. If you didn't know, he because the Israelites were killing their children. If you didn't know that, Psalms 106, it shows you that they were killing their children to Baal, which is the Canaanite god for the Canaanites. But Baal goes all the way back to Mesopotamia. Yeah. But the Canaanites took it over too. Mesopotamia, you remember that the Cushite were there. Cush was the one that Nimrod, he's a Cushite. He was the one that brought that shit over there. And he was so powerful that they followed him. Because they had magic. If you didn't know, because if you check out the scriptures, you will see that. Because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people actually don't know that they had magic, man. That shit was so powerful. Woo. It was so powerful. That's why you see people nowadays, until this day, I'm talking about our people, they sell their soul for material gains, trying to get up in Hollywood. Why? Because they see the power. Whether it be physical worship or just glory, you can do great fun things. You have all this money, all these women throw themselves at you. A lot of our people see that and they want to sell their souls because it looks beautiful. So back in the days, they saw the power that these other people had, and they worship them and they sell their soul toward them. You know, what was I looking for? Oh yeah, Psalms 106 and 37. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils. That's what the Israelites did. If you read the rest, you will see it's Israelites. And shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan, devils. And the land was polluted with blood. So, like I often say, a lot of people would read this and be like, oh, the Israelites are wicked, man. Look at what they did. They sacrificed their children. Oh, they're wicked. You don't even read further where it says the idols of Canaan. So who the hell were they following after? They're the ones that did the shit. It's the Israelites that followed with their dumbass. You know? But a lot of people don't look at the source of the thing. They look at the reaction. The people that doing it, they're the ones that are gonna get that name. But they got it from somewhere, right? Where you think Canaan. But like I said, in Mesopotamia, where the Shemites were, but the Canaanites went, and they actually Cushite is Hamites. He went there and did it there. So yeah, but you have certain, but you have to understand not the civilization, but if you read Genesis 11, you will see that people started to go there, and here you can see it too. Let me do this one, and then I'm gonna go on. Joshua 24:2. And Joshua said unto all the people, thus saith Yahweh the power of Israel, your fathers, our forefathers, dwelt on the other side of the flood in old time, even Terah, and the father of Abraham, and the father of Nahor, which is here spelled Nahor, but it's Nahor. And they served other gods. So our forefather Terah and his son Nahor, they served other gods, the gods of the Mesopotamia. And it says right here, 3,600 gods. They had 3,600 gods here. BC. Sumerian text lists approximately 3,600 deities. And what is Samaria? Samaria is another word for Mesopotamia. Here, see? It's the same thing. It's Mesopotamia. It's the same thing. They just named it different because, that's what Edomites do. Mesopotamia is also a word. It's not even a country. Mesopotamia means land between the rivers. What land? The land of Shinar. Sumerians are people. Well, it's a place too, but yeah. Anyway. The Canaanites had thousands of gods too. But let me go on. Let me go on. Just like how you have here, for example. Here, this is the same thing what happened there too. Here, you had the, let me see here. In the Greek, they would call, wait, let me see here. Thanatos. Okay, here, Greek. I want ones that people know. Here, this one. Zeus was called in the Roman Jupiter. Hera was Juno. Poseidon was called Neptune. And nowadays, the Poseidon is Aquaman. Let me see. Venus, Mars is Eris, the god of war, so-called god of war. Aphrodite, until this day they use this one and this one too, but not as much. This one is more a planet nowadays, associated with a planet nowadays. Now when they say Aphrodite or Aphrodites, they're talking about libido, something like that, which is talking about sexuality and stuff, because she was the god, the idol of sexual things and stuff like that, whatever. Hades, everybody talks about that one instead of Pluto, which is a planet nowadays. It's associated with a planet. Cupid, everybody uses the word Cupid, or they know about it, I should say. Cupid with the arrow shooting you, but it's actually Eros. But a lot of people don't know Eros. Most people know Cupid, or heard about Cupid, I should say. Eros is Cupid. It's the same thing. The Romans Cupid is the equivalent of the Greek idol Eros, which goes into erotic, which goes into basically sex, which goes basically into porno. And Cupid sounds cute, like a little, shoot you with your arrow, but actually Eros is the gruesome truth about it. It's like some porno shit. They used to worship him, like, please give me dildos and holes in the ground so I can have sex with the ground, and having sex with trees. Here. Echo marriage. It's a name. It's a name for it. Let me see. Here, let me see. Women marrying trees. What's it called? Something with echo. Ecosexuality, no, that's not the word. Ecosexual. Something with echo. I forgot the word. Maybe it's, I don't think it's ecosexual. I think it's something else. But anyway, it's something with echo. So until this day, they still do that thing. Yeah, this is from the old school. People did that back in the days, having sex with the ground, having sex with trees. That's where the dildo come from. Yeah, so they did these things a long time ago. Eros and all that type of stuff, right? So yeah, going back to over here, Druid bell. Okay, that I already talked about that. Oh yeah, Baal. Meri Baal here, Meri Baal, which is what is that again? Baal is my advocate, is my lawyer basically, and Baal here, no, this one here, Baal. It's actually this. You spell it like this, Baal. That's actually what it says right here, Baal. Ba-ila. Baila. But you say Baal. That's the actual name. In English, it would be then therefore Baal. But a Reubenite was also called Baal. He was called Baal. That's his name. So, like I said, it's not an evil thing. Lucifer is not an evil name. I'm going to give you an example. Lucy is... Lucy is a female. Here. Lucy, Here, name meaning. Because you don't know. If you know, you would not call your daughter Lucy. As of light. Born at the dawn of light. Alternative. Spellings are Lucy, Lucia, Lucy. Lucius. It comes from this. It says here, there is no indication that Lucy was named after Lucifer, but she did identify with the name, since Lucifer has the same origins as her name. So yeah, this is nonsense. But the point is that no, I mean, like, see, they're speaking about an individual woman. I'm not talking about that. Here, Lucy's Latin name Lucia shares the root Luke with the Latin word for light, lux. A number of traditional incorporate symbolic meaning of Saint Lucy as the bearer of light. The word Lucy is a female word of Saint Lucifer. That's what it means. It actually means bearer of light or morning star. Luke also is the same word. Luke comes from Lucy, meaning light, and it's Lucifer. Lucifer just means light. Here, you can put it in the Dutch. Lucifer. Here, Lucifer. This is Lucifer. Lucifer. This means to light. It's Lucifer. So this is Lucifer. It's Dutch. It comes from the Greek or Rome, whatever. Greek, Roman, whatever. The thing is, I don't know exactly. One of those two. Lucifer, Greek or Roman. It's Dutch. It's a Dutch word. Lucifer in the Dutch. Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub. How do you say Lucifer? Okay, cool. Here, trans Lucifer in the Dutch. It's just a match. Okay, here, match. Here. What? No. Light the match. Here, stake a Lucifer on. Light a match, light a Lucifer. That's what it means. So it's not a bad thing. It's just Esau made it into bad. The rainbow is not a bad thing. Esau made it into bad. So that's the same example. Anyway, so go back to over here. So a Reubenite was called Baal. He was called Baal or Baal. But yeah. Let me see. A town in Simeon was also called Baal Lathbir. Baal Lathbir. That thing. So, like I said, it's not a bad thing. I wouldn't want to call, you know. I wouldn't want to be walking around with a rainbow clothing on. But I do know that it is not evil. I'm still not wearing it because it's just stupid. You shouldn't do that. If this was maybe 40 years ago, I would do it. There is no problem in that time and age. Anyway, so going on back to over here. So that was his name. So don't get it twisted, because the Muslim people, they don't know. But they would say, like, yeah, this is a contradiction. Here it says Jonathan's son was called Meribbaal, and his son was Micah with H. But then here it says inconsistency in the Bible. Verse 12, Mephibosheth had a son, which is Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth. And then he had a son whose name was Micah instead of Micah. So yeah, that's that part. And he was lame on his feet, so King David didn't hate him. So going back to over here, Matthew 15:14, let them alone, they be blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into a ditch. They're not actually blind. They're blind because they're spiritually blind. Why? Because they don't have Yahweh Bashem Yashai. And if you worship idols, you're blind. You're lame. You're blind. Right? So, going back to over here, 2 Samuel chapter 5 verse let me see. He shall be chief, wherefore is said, the blind and lame shall not come into the house. Right? So if you go back to over here, so if you go to verse 8 now, it's written kind of messed up. So 2 Samuel 5:8. On that day David said, anyone who conquers the Jebusites will have to use the water shaft to reach those lame and blind whom are David's enemies. That is why they say the lame and blind will not enter into this place. So it's very irritating because it changes. The blind and lame shall not come into this house. Come into the house. Shall not come into the house. Basically, what it was actually trying to say is that they thought themselves to be so great that they said, you can't even the blind and the lame of the Jebusites will be able to beat you, because that's how weak you are. You know, so something you would get something to that degree you would get out of reading all these different translations. But let me see, Lord willing, let me see. Lame and blind who hated. Oh no, verse 6. Right, let me see. The king of this man of Jerusalem, the Jebusites, you will never get in here. Even the blind and the lame could turn you away, meaning that David could never get in, because they had it fortified, because it explains to you here, verse 9. So David went into the fort. In the fort. What is a fort? A fort is something that is fortified. It's a building of strategic position. It's basically fortified. That's what it means. It's a fort. So what did they say? Verse 8. And David said on that day, whosoever getteth up to the gutter. Now the gutter is talking about the well that they had, the whole viaducts of water and all that type of stuff, and it was up there in the air, not in the air, on the mountain. Here, like this. So this, and then those people were there, like here, for example, or here, for example. They were down here, for example, and then here was the way of their, you know, the thing of their water. They was down here in the channels, but basically King David said, go cut off their water. I'm gonna cut your water off. I'm gonna cut your water off. That's what King David said, right? And then going on, whosoever getteth up to the gutter and smiteth the Jebusites and the lame and the blind that are hated of David's soul. That's talking about these Jebusites that was idol worshippers. That's what it was talking about. It's not actually physically lame and blind, but they made a reference and said, even the blind and the lame could beat you out. It could beat you. What do you think you're gonna do? You can't fight us. We're too strong for you. Because the Heavenly Father caused them to often beat us up if we wanted to fight against them, because we sinned. Here. We sinned against them. Joshua 7:11. Israel had sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant which I commanded them. They have even taken up the accursed thing, and have stolen, and dissembled also. Dissembled. It's stolen. It's hidden. Hidden, conceal, disguise. You know, take apart. And they have put it even among their own stuff. Therefore the children of Israel could not stand before their enemies. We died. But turned their back before their enemies, because they were accursed. That's what happens when you steal. When you steal, you have a thief among you, and you go out to war, especially in those days. Well, you would die. You would die, right? Neither will I be with you anymore, except ye destroy the accursed from among you. And who stole? It was one guy. And because of him, about 36 men of our people died. So what did we do? We killed him. We burned his ass with fire, and we burned his children with fire. Joshua 7:24. And Joshua said, and all Israel and Israel with him took Achan the son of Zerah, and which was from Judah, because it says it right here. Here, the tribe of Judah. He was from the tribe of Judah, right? And Zerah, okay. And the silver, and the garment, and the wedge of gold, and his sons, and his daughters, and his oxen. Even his animals wasn't safe. And his asses, donkeys, and his sheep, and his tent, even his house, and all that he had, everything and anything that he had. And they brought them unto the valley of Achor. And Joshua said, why hast thou troubled us? Because of you 36 men died. About 36 men died. Yahweh shall trouble thee this day. Say, you troubled us, the Lord's going to trouble you. And all Israel stoned them with stones, and burned them with fire, after they had stoned them with stones. So they beat him up with stones, that they die, and then they set their body on fire. That's crazy, because the women of Achan, they didn't die. It's not mentioned. So yeah, it's not expounded upon what maybe their sons, his sons, was down with it, and I don't know. But I do know that the women are not mentioned. His wives were not mentioned. Maybe, I don't know how many wives he had actually. It doesn't say. But it says all his sons and all his daughters, which are his children, they did die that day. So yeah. Anyway, Deuteronomy 7 and the rest of 1. 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. The Jebusites. Let me read it. This is Deuteronomy 7 and 1. When Yahweh thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgasites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. Yeah, because they was tough guys. They didn't think, oh, you gonna win, you ain't gonna win. But we already killed the guys. They was proud as shit, because they saw us slaughter them, butcher them, beat the shit out of them, toughen them up, and still they was like, man, you ain't gonna beat me. But yeah, they died. But we couldn't beat them completely, because the Lord kept them. And yeah, but the Lord said this about King David. Let me read that for you. That's why King David beat them. Same page. Psalms 89 and 20. I have found David my servant. With my holy oil have I anointed him, with whom my hand shall be established. Mine arm also shall strengthen him. The enemy shall not exact upon him. So no oppression from them. Nor the son of wickedness afflict him. You ain't gonna do nothing. Because you had wicked Israelites among us too. Yeah, but the wickedness was talking about the hidden nations. But like I said, they are wicked. Here, Jeremiah 5, if I'm correct. Among my Jeremiah 5:26. For among my people are found wicked men. You know, going on. Psalms chapter 89 verse. Where was I? Oh, yeah, 23. And I will beat down his foes before his face, David, and plague them that hate him. But my faithfulness and mercy, and my mercy shall be with him. Yeah, because when he sinned, the Most High, you know, his mercy was there, and the faithfulness, he kept it in him. And in my name shall his horn be exalted. That shows you that horn means power. Because here, it's most of the time a female. Not, you know, this is not really dangerous. Even though they love to buck you with their head. Yeah. Okay. Now let me see. Ram. Fight. Now try this one. Try this one. Let's say you went to go kneel to how you call that thing? To tie your shoelaces or something like that. And he saw it, this ram was looking at you like, oh, you trying to defy me? You trying to defy me? And then he did this to you. He did this. Oh, you trying to defy me? If he did that to you, he could crack your skull. You could be dead. But this is what these goats, how you call them? These lambs love to do. These sheep. But this one doesn't. This one doesn't have horns. They love to do this. But if this is a child, it would be dangerous, you know. So it's still dangerous here, because she can, if she's an older female. If this was an Israelite, I'm giving an example. She was older and she could fall, break her hip. You know, it's still dangerous. The guy came to rescue her. And here, I saw this one. Man, this one was boom. And then the other one came, boom. Right? He wasn't done yet, though. He wasn't done yet. She was kicking. And then the other guy came. that guy was, that's a murderer. And let me see here. Beam bomb. That face was not. Hey, that shit was. Whoa, man. That shit was funny as hell. If you look at her face, that ain't. Boom, man. Fuck you, still fuck out the way, bitch. Fucking angry. Devil. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I just had a very bad day. Boom. Ooh. Did you see how hard her face hit the concrete? Damn. She was funny as hell. And what was that scripture? Oh yeah, ox known. Here. Now Exodus chapter 21, verse 20. I mean, no, not this one. Exodus chapter 21, verse 36. Here. It says here, or if it be known that the ox had used to push in time past. So this animal should actually be kept not walking around free. And it is the male. You can see that he's bigger than all the others. When you see them, wait, let me see something here. Let me see something. Wait, right. You can see here that he's bigger than the rest. Look, see, bigger than the rest. Like he towers over them. That's like Saul or something. Saul was big. He towers over all the others. I think that's a female. I think the rest are females, and this one is a male. He's definitely a male because he's bigger. And he's like, get away from my bitches, my harem. Get away from my bitches, nigga. Cracker, devil. Mark, yeah, beam. That's bomb. Bam, damn, that's harsh. He ain't playing. But my point is, if he had horns, she'd be really in trouble. So, pushing time past, and his owner had not kept him in, he shall surely pay an ox for ox, and the dead shall be his own. And wait, that's actually not what I'm looking for. It's the point is, my point is, it's somewhere in that same chapter. It's in that chapter. Wait, Exodus 21. Did I just read 16? It's 36. Here, 29 actually, not 36. To 29. But if the ox were one to push with his horn in time past, and it had been testified to the owner, meaning if the animal was known to trying to beat people up and stuff like that, like human beings, and he had not kept him in, but that he had killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned to death, and his owner also shall be put to death. So he dies also, because he was not allowed to let this animal loose. If this animal is known to do this to people, it's funny as hell, but because it's Edomite. But anyway, bing, that's fucking hard, man. That was really hard. You can see that that was a really weak female. Boom. But anyway, this animal, if he already did this before and the woman died, that animal would have been put to death. Should have been put to death. Should have been put to death a long time ago. But that was a funny sight. When I saw this, I laughed at shit. It's funny. It's funny to me. But according to the scriptures, that animal should have been put to death, or kept on, kept away from people. Sorry. Let me see something here. Sorry, wait. Right. So if you knew that that animal was a dangerous animal and was known for beating up people, and you didn't keep him away from people, and one day he kills someone, you die too. So believe me, people would be very afraid for their animals to kill someone, especially if they have been already told you're gonna die along with your animal that same day, and that animal get stoned too, you know, big boulders. But anyway, if the animal had horns, you'd be in trouble, right? So because horns represent power. So going on, so it says here, verse 25, I will set his hand also in the sea, which is the people, and his right hand in the river, which is what? He will be above the people, the sea of people, and he will be prosperous in everything that he does. Psalms chapter 1 verse 1, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. David was there. And in his law doth he meditate day and night. David was there. Yes, he made mistakes with the adultery and then the murder, but the Lord forgave him for that. And also, yeah, he acknowledged that he made a mistake, and he knows. So we're not exempt for mistakes like that. You gotta really start thinking about you. That's why females are kind of dangerous, you know, very dangerous. Many men fell because of women. First Ezra chapter 4 explicitly goes into that. There's more chapters, by the way. Sirach, the whole book of, not the whole book, but many chapters in Sirach speak about women. Like, hey, watch out. And also in First Ezra chapter 4 explicitly talks about that with women and stuff like that. You know, many have fell for women. Many lost their wits. Many people died for women. They killed themselves, for example, or murdered others, or killed others and stuff like that. First Ezra 4:26. Yea, many there be that ran out of their wits for women. They went crazy. Wits is basically intelligent. Wit, smartness. The seat of conscience. Here, denoting the mind as the seat of conscience. So your conscience, your mind, you go crazy for women and became servants for their sakes, or they put you in debt. You know, so you spend all the money, all of a sudden, oh shit, honey, what you do? You didn't pay the bills. Yeah, how about me some diamonds? And then, you know, you gotta go work. You gotta go work and pay back what you owe, because she spent it all. You know. Verse 3, Psalms 1 and 3, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. That's it. Why? Because he's going to be prosperous, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither. You're always going to have leaves. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper, because you are in the Lord. Here, Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. So that's what King David had, and his right hand in the rivers, because this is what the Most High can do to you if you piss him off. Right. This is what King David does to you when he curses you. Here, right hand Satan. The book of Psalms 109 and 6. King David was cursing people. Set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand in his right hand, because your right hand is supposed to be the hand of goodness. That's why the scripture says, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand is doing. Your hands don't think nor talk. It's talking about, here, left hand. Matthew 6 and 3. But when thou, here, Matthew 6 and 3. But when thou doest alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth. Meaning, don't let these people that are your associates know what you do with the people that you put on your right hand. Meaning, the ones on your right hand is symbolic for your close friends. The ones on your left hand are just your acquaintances. When you go to the job, for example, those are not your friends. They can become your friends, but first and foremost, they are your colleagues. They are your acquaintances. You know what I'm saying? It's not your friend. Your friends are the ones on your right hand, symbolically. You put them on your right, near where you are strong, near where you are familiar, because you're familiar with your right hand more than you are familiar with your left hand. Unless you're left-handed. There's not many people. The thing still stands for the majority. The majority of the people are right-handed, and therefore you will build according to the right. For example, you have certain things that you need to be right-handed in order to use. And then people that are left-handed come about and say, hey, what about me? Well, for example, a mouse, especially back in the days, the mouses were actually built for right-handed people. That's why often you see the mouse on the right hand. See them on the right. But nowadays you do have these type of things that have these clicker things, but you can switch it on the right. For example, let me give you an example of a fact here. This click here is actually the clicker, and this click here is actually this one. The right one is this one, but a person that is left-handed, he will want to do it other way around because he's left-handed, and then he will use his index finger for that. He uses his index finger for the other one too, but most of the time his middle finger, you know. Your middle finger is for the right of the click button. This one, right finger, and this one is your left finger. Your middle finger, and this one is the left point finger. You know, the pointy one, the one you touch stuff with. Point with that one. But a left-handed person will want this one to be the pointer, a clicker, and this one to be this one. You know, the menu popper. But a person with a right hand would want to do this. But anyway, that's how it was created in the beginning. Later on, they started to add an option into the option thing that you can switch these later on, you know. But in the beginning, it was not created for you like that. It wasn't created for you like that. You need to have to adjust yourself in order for you to be able left-handed. For you to be able to use things of basically the average people, left-handed PC gamers. How do you use it? You know, because it's different. Like, what? I'm left-handed. I can't use this. It's not made for you. Yeah, it's not made for you. See? Now you have to do this. Normally it would be here, because that's what people do. You don't do this. You don't do this. You put it here, because you know you're right. You're right-handed. He's obviously left-handed, and then yeah, he does that. He does like that. But anyway, so you put good things on your right hand, right? And also Matthew 23:1. Yahweh is my shepherd; I shall not want. Meaning, I have everything that I want, that I need. I shall not need anything. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He maketh me to lie in great waters, beautiful waters that is full of nutrients. Here, for example. Here. So, King David was here. And then, therefore, it becomes this. Let me see. There's here. So, another good picture. It's blurry. This one I was looking for. This one is this is a lot of water, more water, but it stays here and it will branch out. But this one looks good too. But my point is that along the water will be greenery. If it's not water, it will become a desert. So what are you when you are in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? You're here. That's no, you're here. This is drought season too, but this is more smaller. Well, these are actually not good examples. This one here. This is you when you are in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. This is you when you follow after somebody else, like flying reindeers, bunnies that lay eggs, some stone in like Mecca. You know, when you do that, that's you. That's you. That's you right here. But here is where you are when you are in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Psalms chapter 1 explains this, right? So I'm going back to over here. He maketh me to lie down in green pasture. He leadeth me beside the still waters. That's what you get when you are in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and you get your soul restored. And that's the same water that Yahweh brought to the well of the woman. Like, if you drink this water, you're going to thirst. But if you drink the water that I give you, you should never thirst. You're going to be immortal once that time comes. I'm going to wake you up. And then you're going to be woken up. You know what I'm saying? So, right. And his right hand in the rivers. That's what the Most High did with him. He made him prosperous. He made him do anything. He didn't want anything. And he says also, making me to lie down on green pastures. So we are sheep. This sheep is in heaven. He's chilling. There is no thing that he's thinking about right now. He's thinking about nothing but eating, doing nothing. Just eating, being safe. You know, he's looking about over his shoulders. Probably because of you. He's taking that picture. I mean, you know, they have no worries whatsoever. They're in heaven. They're in heaven right now. And then this is heaven for a sheep. Well, King David is rolling around right here. And the scriptures is the grass. Because we are sheep. Going on back to over here. 26. He shall cry unto me, thou art my father, my power, and the rock of my salvation. Also, I will make him my firstborn. So, David got put up in the position of the firstborn that inherited everything. That's King David. Higher than the kings of the earth. So, all the kings of the earth, he's higher than them. And above him is Yahushai. Yeah, he's the one under Yahushai. I mean, yeah. There's no higher king upon the planet earth than King David. You know? And you can read the rest for yourself if you have the time. Until here, even. I think it's more, but yeah, color than there here. Going on back to here.